Alrighty everyone, welcome back. Now, given that it's already getting closer to 2024, Disney is in a scramble right now to really make a rebound with the Disney stocks hitting a very big low, as well as the ongoing box office disasters that have been pretty much a trend throughout all of 2023, and it's not looking good for Disney when it comes to the Disney park attendees, the merchandise sales going down for Star Wars, and a whole lot more aspects about all of that related to that. And other things related to Bob Iger's cost containment plan that's really putting a lot of budgeting limitations on many of these upcoming productions. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. And let's get into what is happening with Rachel Zegler and Disney's higher-ups. Now, we know that Disney is in basically a frantic fight to save Snow White, the live-action remake. We know that this movie is going to be an ironic one, and I always point this out, it could very well be the movie that ironically ends the Disney live-action remakes. Because everything started back in 1937 with the animated movies, it could very well, quite possibly, end with the live-action movies next year, if this is really going to be that bad. Now, there's been a lot of things going on between Disney and ZEGLER, and how they're trying to find a way to balance this movie out to reduce the backlash as much as possible. And if you guys want my 2 cents again, you cannot reduce the backlash in here. As long as you have ZEGLER, as long as you have the way that the 7 magical creatures are presented in this movie, it's not going to work, period, the end. But let's get into what's going on here with the latest drama surrounding ZEGLER. Now, with Disney currently making key choices with Snow White, most of which are damage control driven, one major development has to do with actress Rachel Zegler. In a shocking turn of events, Disney higher-ups made a key choice and decision that they forced upon director Mark Webb to pass down to the editors. Much of this has to do with the cancellation of 4 major songs that were presented by Rachel Zegler in the Snow White film. The main reasoning behind the cancellation has to do with Disney's understanding that these songs actually failed at the test screening and would not only make the backlash worse, but it would also drive away word of mouth for this movie. However, in Zegler's point of view, this was her best work done for the film that has now dwindled her amount of songs to a bare minimum in the movie, compared to actress Gal Gadot. Now, one of the 4 songs that were canceled by Disney that reportedly got Rachel very angered behind the scenes focused on a song about her training with her lifelong friend, dubbed The Protector. Both Snow White and The Protector were going to have a singing session at one point while they were actually preparing to train before it transitioned into the actual training scene. So guys, let me just stop here for one moment. Now, we know that there's a mysterious new character in Snow White that wears a mask that is called the Protector. And he's kind of like this martial arts trainer type of guy. We're not quite sure, by the way, if it's specifically martial arts. It is martial arts-esque fighting style in a short snippet for Snow White's opening sequence. Now, again, we know that Zegler, Gal, even director Mark Webb have been openly clear that this movie is all about making Snow White a powerful person, both physically and mentally. And this is all due in conjunction with what Disney is trying to do. They are trying to basically reshape how fans or how the general public view Snow White as a character, and many of these upcoming princesses or icons in pop culture in their upcoming Disney remakes / reboots. The same will be done with Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Beauty and the Beast, all of which are going to be redone, and that's going to be a part of their DEI agenda as well. Now, this is where matters get worse. Now, we know that this is all part of their re-edit plan. This is their plan A. Disney did have a plan B, which was to refilm some scenes, but the strikes are actually preventing that from even happening. And even if the strikes ended today, alright? Let this sink in for a second. Even if it ended today, they would have to at least delay this movie until the summer of 2024, maybe even the fall. because you can't film that much footage in time and just release it in March. It's not going to happen. So anyway, this is where matters get even more intense, is that Disney doubled down on deleting the scene due to the severe failed test screening for Snow White. Another song presented by ZEGLER that Disney decided to force Mark Webb to delete involved her marching with the 7 magical creatures, formerly referred to as the 7 dwarfs, into the Forbidden Forest that leads to the Hidden Kingdom. This is the home of the evil queen, as it is referenced as. This song revolved around a lesson to rise against one's fear. However, what made the scene cringeworthy was the magical creatures are singing along with ZEGLER about their quest to breaking a spell that was created by the evil queen, taking away their powers. Now, the 2 other mysterious songs deleted by Disney focused on ZEGLER singing with Andrew Burnap that were drastically cut back and toned down, where the songs seemingly had Snow White talking down to Jonathan. Disney is attempting to do whatever they can to improve the negative insight from the test screeners that was reportedly just as bad as Aquaman 2 for Warner Brothers as this is for Disney. Now, first thing I really have to gather from this, is this some kind of like constant musical? There are so many songs in Snow White that it just sounds utterly ridiculous. So hey, I'm not defending Disney, I'm not with Disney at all, but I gotta give them credit. At least you're cutting out some nonsense. At the very bare minimum, you're cutting out some nonsense. Now, granted, this movie's still gonna have a lot of songs, but from what it sounds like, they were going overboard with music in this movie, to the point where I was just saying to myself, is it even an actual movie with real dialogue, or is it just straight up song after song, beat for beat, from start to finish? That's what it started to come across as to me, but who knows? You know, we know that the original plan was to make this movie nearly 3 whole hours long, like 2 hours and 49 or 50 minutes, which is ludicrous. Like, what kids are gonna sit through that for that long? I have no idea what Disney was aiming for at the time, but right now they're shaving down the running time. It's looking like they're probably gonna aim for maybe 2 hours and 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes max. That seems more correct. And chucking out all those scenes is the proper and the right step in the direction. So I don't think that this movie, no matter what you do, no matter what re-edits you do, no matter what songs you take out, as long as it still has nonsense songs thrown in there, which it still is going to, by the way, it's not going to attract many people. It's going to really be a major turnoff. It's going to create negative word of mouth, not just because of the internet, but just due to people having conversations about this movie. And this movie could very well be a worse situation than The Flash. Alright, so we know that The Flash was one of the big box office failures. In fact, Aquaman 2 may very well even dethrone that status of The Flash. It's very possible, so December shall be a very interesting month. But overall, I am really intrigued to hear what you all have to say about this big decision by Disney upon Rachel Zegler. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. No, I'm not the one. From night to moon, we hear them moans again.